Hey there, and welcome to That's Audacious, where we share entrepreneurial stories from amazing leaders to inspire and motivate you to be bold, brave, and audacious. I'm your host, Lauren Clement, the brand navigator, here to share stories that will make you say, well, that's audacious. Hello and welcome to another episode of the That's Audacious podcast, where we chat with extraordinary people doing amazing things to shine a light on what they're doing so that the world knows their stories. Now, Nicole Lamers is with us today. She's an award-winning Australian entrepreneur, educator, and founder of AER Wellness Co, a purpose-driven, plant-powered hair care brand that's redefining sustainability and well-being in the beauty industry. Nicole has a legacy that includes building one of Western Australia's most awarded salons, and she's just recently won the Bronze Stevie Award for Best Female Entrepreneur in Australia, Asia, and New Zealand. Congratulations, Nicole, that's amazing. You're championing women in business, and you're driven by a mission to inspire conscious leadership, resilience, and meaning. It's so good to have you on the show, Nicole. Tell us a little bit about how you got into what you're doing. What does it something you just always loved, or did you fall into it, or was your mum a hairdresser? Tell us the story.
Well, first of all, Lauren, thank you so much for having me. I've been very excited to do this with you. So a little bit about my story. I've spent 22 years in the hairdressing industry, and including 15 years of that being a salon owner. And throughout my time, I've always been really passionate about well-being and sustainability. So in my salon, I worked really hard to make conscious choices, but over time I realized that the products we were using didn't really reflect the values I'd lived by. So that sent me down a huge research rabbit hole. And what I found honestly shocked me so much. The harsh chemicals hidden in everyday body products, even in like luxury ranges. I remember thinking we would never ingest these ingredients. So why are we putting them on our body, which is like the most absorbent organ we have? So that realization really lit a fire in me, and I wanted to protect me, my loved ones, my clients, and offer something genuinely better. So I spent a couple of years doing a lot of R&D, learning everything I could, and working with local chemists and manufacturers to create something Australian made and sustainable, but still luxurious. So that's how AER was born. It wasn't born just as a brand. It was an extension of my values, I guess. So yeah, it just was a passion project, I guess.
Yeah, brilliant. Because we do hear about it with the hairdressing industry, with you have to really struggle with your hands. I know lots of hairdressers have
dermatitis
and horrible.
Yeah.
And that's mostly, I guess, they're in the water a lot, but it is a lot to do with the toxins and things in the products as well.
Totally. I think we definitely have come a long way within the industry with the products, but there's still gnarly things going on, like the ammonia consumption, it's a whole nother, once you dive into it, you can't unsee it. And so, yeah, that's really why I wanted to offer something to the general public and professional hairdressers, a product that was safe and clean.
Yeah, wow. Unbelievable, isn't it? And is it interesting how long these things go on for until somebody says, hey, this isn't good enough and we need to protect our skin, our team, our clients, our families, our everything else.
Yeah, and it can be proven, scientifically proven, and we still, I guess that's the thing. For me, it's about educating people, right? Because what you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's just, this is the way it's always been done. Well, why is that? So where did you come up with the idea that you would just solve that problem by requesting better products from your suppliers, that you went, hey, actually, I think I can make my own product?
Well, it came from a need for my own salon. It was, I looked across Australia, worldwide, for brands that I thought would align and would offer those cleaner products, and I couldn't find any. Everything was sort of greenwashed, and everything that sort of looked natural wasn't really great. So I thought, hang on a second, I'm just going to have a look into this. And then I started researching, and I'm like, I think I can do this. I think there's something here. So it really was born from a need for me.
Yeah, I love it. That's such an entrepreneurial story. You know, it's the Ginny and Alice with the Boost juice. She couldn't find anything, so she made it herself. It's so often that we have amazing entrepreneurs like yourself that do that. So what are some of the products, Nicole, that you have? And are they available to just salons, or can people go and purchase them?
So professional only at the moment. So I have picked certain salons that align with the same ethos, and I wanted the product to be in the hands of people who really knew the values behind the brand. So it's in Salon across Australia, certain eco salons, and then it can be purchased online for consumers direct through our website. Yeah.
Fantastic. And are you finding that people, I mean, one of the best ways to grow a brand, of course, is to have the public walking into a salon saying, hey, have you got AER Wellness products? I'll only come here if you have non-toxic products. Is that starting to happen, that people are starting to request that from their salon?
I definitely think, you know, eco-conscious clients or sensitive clients, I have found we've really filled a gap for people who are sensitive to fragrance, people who have sensitive skin, people going through chemical treatment, immune deficiencies, all these sort of things. And pregnancy, all these things, we've stepped into these areas where we can provide an alternative, a safe alternative for people, which feels really empowering.
Yeah, absolutely. Hadn't thought about the pregnancy side of things. I remember when I was pregnant with my daughter, my hair got quite thin, and my hairdresser said, look, here's a thing you can put on and it'll help just maintain your hair and so on. I had a really hairy baby. So that's a little bit of insight about my daughter, but still. Let's talk a little bit about what you've done really to promote that as a brand, but also you've now become an educator. So you've also stepped into the role of using your expertise and those years of experience to now teach and train other salon owners and hairdressers and so on to improve what they do as well. When did you decide that going for awards might be a good idea to raise your profile a little bit?
So within the hairdressing industry, I've always sort of challenged myself with industry awards, and sort of initially entered more skills-based awards, and then I sort of moved on to business awards and that sort of thing, and did quite well within the industry. And then I got to a point where I saw these awards and I thought, hang on a second, I think I've got something here. So I sort of looked into international awards and then thought, give it a go and see what happens. So. And
what happened?
Well, obviously, as you mentioned, I won the Bronze Stevie Award for Women in Business for Best Female Entrepreneur in Australia, Asia and New Zealand. So that was... I still think it's insane, but because of the people that I heard, the other businesses that I was up against, you know, people like Microsoft and IBM, and I'm thinking, I'm just a solo female business from Perth, and I'm standing up here against these huge corporates, and I did well. I got bronze, so I'm really, really stoked. And feel really
amazing. And that's a story in itself, isn't it? I know a lot of people, when they start looking at awards, they dip their toe in the local awards or the industry awards, and actually they sort of shy away from those bigger global awards and so on. And we actually find there's less unconscious bias in the international awards because the judges really don't know who you are, whereas in the industry there's a lot of people who know a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Looking at some of the companies that you are up against, they're large, established Australian and Asian-based businesses. So to even be a bronze winner up against those sorts of people was just phenomenal.
Being a finalist was just the biggest win for me anyway. I've only, AER is only 2 years old, so I just feel very, very grateful to have even experienced going to New York and going to the Stevie Awards and being surrounded by amazing other women in business was a real pinch me moment, really.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it. You are listening to the That's Audacious podcast. If you like what you're hearing, there's lots of other episodes and you can find them on your favorite podcast channel, but please like and subscribe to make sure we reach as many people as we can with these incredible stories. Now, Nicole, what are you going to do next? So you've got now an international award as an entrepreneur. You've got industry and local awards for what you do. You've got an amazing product. What's the next thing for Nicole and for AER Wellness?
So I want to move more into business education and supporting women, majority of women in business. I feel like there's a real gap there where I can support business owners. Also with AER, we're looking at distributing to the US. So moving the product not just nationally, but globally. So they're kind of the next steps, and obviously product development. So we're increasing our range.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it. And was the experience in New York or at the Stevie's a useful step in terms of those connections globally? Did you, or is there any way you're going to leverage that?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing that I got from it was actually from the Australian women that were there. Just sort of bouncing ideas off other like-minded entrepreneurs was really helpful, and also building that community of support, because sometimes being in business, especially being in business by myself, it does get quite lonely. So having a community or a support network that you can go, hey, what do you think of this? Or wouldn't this be great? What do you think is really helpful for my growth and also like building the community.
Yeah, brilliant. And what's the award really done for you, do you think, in terms of confidence and things like that? I know you talked about how shining a light on what you do is quite hard compared to shining the light on your product or services. Has it changed your mindset at all about the value of what you do?
As we were sort of saying, I really struggle with, propping myself up. I know what I do is great and I know my products are great, but it is that conversation you have with yourself, where you've come from, where you're going, and just, I guess the award gives you more confidence. It gives you a little bit more resilience to go into the next project that you've got planned, or it gives you that little bit of a, come on, you can do it, you've got this. So, yeah.
It's nice, tangible evidence, isn't it? When you look at that award and you go, yep, I did that. And there's now all those voices in your head that might be undermining your self-doubt. You can go, well, look, here's some evidence that I'm actually doing okay. I'm good at what I do. Do you think it'll affect the way that you go forward and promote yourself now as a bit more of an educator rather than just a product developer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I guess it gives me the confidence to go, no, hang on a second. What I'm saying and what I'm sharing is actually valid, and I know I've got evidence and I've got backing, and it comes down to confidence, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And that self-belief that you do have something of value that you can offer the world. What was it like to stand there in Times Square and see your billboard up in lights, your product up in lights when it started snowing? How did that feel? I was like, don't cry, you're getting pictures. It mind-blowing. Like, you never think that you're gonna be standing in Times Square, like seeing your heart and soul on a billboard. I grew up in a tiny little country town, and going to New York was just never a thing that I thought I'd even do. So standing there and having that experience was just incredible. Yeah, brilliant. I love it. Now, the last question I always ask in these incredible interviews that I have with amazing people like yourself, Nicole, is if you could go back in time to any point to give yourself some advice around what you're doing now, what would that be?
I would definitely tell my younger self to trust my intuition. I've always led with my gut, and when I question that is when it doesn't feel right. So I guess trusting in myself, backing myself, and also just giving it a go. If it feels uncomfortable, that's generally where you get the most growth. So I always sort of say, there's no comfort in growth. So I guess I'd tell my younger self to just back myself, give it a go. What's the worst that can happen?
Oh, I love it. And is that sort of advice you'd give to somebody now if they're going, I'm not sure about entering awards and putting myself out there? And
absolutely. I'm 10 times better at giving like props to people. I'm like, you can do this, girl. Let's go. And then when it comes to me, I'm like, yeah, you got this. But yeah, I find pumping up other people is a lot easier for me. But yeah, obviously winning these awards lately is going to help give that confidence to me as well.
Yeah, I love it. Would you give any advice to anyone who's thinking about going to New York and entering the Stevies? What would you tell them?
Oh, You have to. You have to give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? You learn more about yourself, you learn more about your business, and you're going to grow. You're going to see those areas that you can improve. So why wouldn't you?
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Your confidence is so cool. I love that. And you can, like, if I can give that back to you to say, keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing amazing things. If you want to know more about the fabulous Nicole Lamers or AER Wellness Co, please look at the links below this interview. Check it out, and really maybe start asking your hairdresser, what products are you using today? Maybe there's something you could be thinking about in terms of what I'm putting on my skin and my body that's better for me. So awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Nicole. It's been an absolute blast.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
And remember, guys, get out there because you do deserve to be well known, well paid, and wanted. Thanks so much for listening to the That's Audacious podcast. Remember, there's no place for modesty in business, and you do deserve to be well known, well paid, and wanted. For more episodes, please subscribe to the podcast on your favourite channel or follow us online. The links are in the description below.